Here. Hopefully we got enough juices.
Yes, enough juice.
Okay, then I can just do it. I just want to say good morning and thank you all for coming out on your Saturday morning to hear about our beautiful county here in Clayton County and begin to tell you what's going on and to address many of your concerns. We're gonna get right to it. Don't want to waste your day. We're gonna start with a couple of state of the county pieces that we have that I want to get you all up to date on. Currently, the splash pad is doing tremendous. It's doing good business. We learned a lot from last year and have corrected the errors. So we're doing well over there. We're still planning for more community and residential enforcement blitzes up down 1941 Terra Boulevard, Valley Hill, off of these corridors. We've got to begin to clean them up, and that's something that we are looking at doing. We amended the contract on the Valley Hill to replace that bridge. Completion date, they say it's 2025, but that's better than before. So we're getting that. The delay was due to AT&T and the removal of the existing poles. Let you all know, PD and fire is getting much needed raises. So that was approved, and we're hoping to really strengthen our first responders and keep them here in Clayton County where they're doing such a fabulous job. What else do I have here? We received a grant for the 1941 Terra Boulevard corridor to begin to study pedestrian safety. We received that from ARC, so we're going to begin to look at it. What we want to do, and my goal is to begin to put pedestrian walkways, sidewalks up and down that corridor. We have got to figure a way to keep our citizens safe that walk up and down that corridor. So right now, I've approved a few things where folks want to come in and build. I am making sure that we have 8-foot wide sidewalks there. What else do we have? Millage rate. I've gotten a lot of calls about taxes supposedly going up. Okay, we rolled the millage rate back from 18.179 to 16 mils. So that's what we did, I believe it was 2 meetings ago, in order to not increase your taxes. Remember, the statement you got was just an assessment of where your home was. It was not a bill, but we have rolled that millage rate back, which will somewhat keep your taxes to where they were the previous year. And I just want to announce too, the Housing Authority has a new executive director. His name is Mr. Mandela Jones, and good guy. I met him, and I think he's going to be an asset to the Housing Authority in this community. So let's go ahead and get underway here. I'm going to let Chief Roberts, I see you're on. Go ahead and get started here and give us what's taking place here, and let Captain Flynn and the others go ahead and do the sector update.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, District 4. Good to see you. Sorry I'm not there, but I wanted just to share some information, overall overview for the PD. Of course, we want to start off talking about crime. Just so you know, our homicides sit this date the same as they did last year. We've not seen an increase in our homicides, but most of our homicides involve firearms and disputes. And I will say we took a different approach to trying to reduce our gun violence in the county with our 2 gun buybacks. We had one at Terra Stadium in May, and then we had the second one just recently at the PD. And between those 2 events, we were able to receive 142 firearms. And the thought is this: if we can remove as many firearms as possible from being either stolen or used in disputes in the home, maybe we can reduce some of our gun-related deaths. So that's the mission. I intend to have at least one more before the end of the year. It seems to be well received by the community, so we'll continue that practice. We have some events coming up that you might be interested in. We have a self-defense training. I think this is the 2nd or 3rd one in partnership with the District Attorney's Office that we will be hosting on July 22nd at the PD in our community room, 10 a.m. If I'm reading the emails correctly, though, it might be all full up. And that's because it's been so well received by our citizens in the county. So just keep your eyes out on our social media platforms for any future self-defense classes in partnership with the District Attorney's Office. And this is something new that we're trying. Social hour with your chief of police at the Clayton County Police Department I believe our date is July 13th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, let me be very clear. This is just an alternative to Coffee with the Chief. A citizen brought it to my attention. We do Coffee with the Chief at different locations, one in each district 4 times a year. The citizen made a point that they could never make it during those times because they were trying to make it to work. Well, this is an evening time alternative at the PD. This will be our first one. There will be no alcoholic beverages served, so rest assured there'll be some juices and some beverages, and just a time for the community to come out and interact with the command staff, not just me, but it'll be me, the assistant chief, deputy chief, and our command staff. So you can come out and have a direct interaction with the folks you need to speak to that serve you in the police department. Stay close to our social media platforms, as we will be having our National Night Out event in August. And in October, first weekend in October, we'll have our National Faith and Blue Weekend. During that weekend, for the last 4 years now, we've been doing our open house along with some other events that we'll have open to our community. So please, please, please stay in touch with our social media platforms. As the commissioner indicated, thank you, Commissioner, and the board for seeing the value of our public safety personnel, as they will be seeing some salary increases. And with that, I don't know if there's a coordination there. We've seen a turnaround as far as our personnel and interest in the PD. Just this past week or so, we released 15 solo officers to patrol. So you should be seeing more officers rolling and answering calls in the community. We have another 15 behind that in the academy. They're halfway through, and their target date for graduation is mid-August. Behind that group, near the end of August, we intend to start our next class, which will be completely full. We anticipate at least 30 or more recruits, which is a great size class for us. So what I'm saying is, we've seen our challenges in recruitment and retention, but it seems like that ship is slowly turning in the right direction, which will allow us to return to some of the great proactive policing measures that we've done in the past, like standing our traffic unit back up, our DUI unit, expanding our crime suppression footprint, and adding personnel to our investigations unit. So that was just a short overview. I saw the lieutenant turn the camera on. That's usually my clue to shut up. And with that, I will transition to the district commander, Captain Gary Flynn, followed by Lieutenant West from Community Affairs.
Morning. Thank you, Chief. As far as for Sector 4, I'm kind of, since we didn't have a meeting last month, I'm just going to kind of generally blend the last 2 months of trends. The thing that we're seeing on Sector 4, our violent crime is actually trending down, kind of consistent with what the chief said as far as homicides and things like that. But even armed robberies and aggravated assaults and things like that, we have been trending down over the last several months. The thing we have seen with schools out, we have seen an increase in burglaries. However, the burglaries aren't mostly residential. The residential ones we do see are vacant homes or residences that are under like renovation or something like that, and they're tending to go in and take appliances and things of that nature. I don't think that's going to be kids doing that. I think that's somebody that's just targeting these vacant residences. So, in those cases, we ask the citizens to please, keep an eye and pay attention to what's going on in your neighborhood. And if you see anything suspicious around houses that are vacant or being renovated, to please give 911 a call and let us come out and figure out whether those people are supposed to be there or not. The other burglaries that we've been seeing for the most part have been smash and grab at like convenience stores and things like that in the overnight hours. Again, those tend to happen in little clusters. We'll have 2 or 3 that'll happen in one night, and then they move areas and tend to bounce around on us. So they're a little difficult for us to plan to do anything. It's just it tends to be a little more luck and things like that than anything, because those tend to happen in just a matter of a few minutes, and the people that do it hit and then they're gone. As far as the entering autos and things, those have kind of been up and down. Some weeks we don't have a whole lot, some weeks we do. what we are still seeing is the Kias and Hyundais. And, I don't know what the remedy to that is. I know from one of the last things I had read, Kia and Hyundai were supposed to be trying to do some type of, whether it's like a firmware update or computer update for the cars to make them where they are not quite so easy to steal by the means that they're using to do that. The last thing I have is actually not really crime related. It's actually more of a safety thing that we have identified on Sector 4 in the area on I-75 between Mount Zion and 138. And this is north and southbound. When it rains, there is standing water that hits in both of those areas. And we see a dramatic number of accidents, sometimes 4 and 5 at a time, back to back to back. Just please, if you drive in that area and it is either raining or it has rained, please use caution, watch your speeds, and just know that any standing water you see is probably deeper than you think it is. And that's the thing that's, cars are hitting this stuff and hydroplaning. We have talked to the state and they're aware of the problem, but I don't know that they know what a remedy is, because it's not a drainage issue. It's actually, I think it's more to do with the grade of the road itself, which is causing water to stand in on both sides, north and southbound. So please, if you're driving in that area, please do use caution if it's raining or if it has recently rained. But Chief, that's all I have for Sector 4.
All right, good morning, everyone. I am Lieutenant West. I am the Community Affairs Unit Commander. For those of you who can see the chat, I've put pretty much all of the events that the chief mentioned in the chat, as far as the dates and the times that we have so far. We are still planning a few events, such as the Faith in Blue. So we'll get dates and times and locations solidified for that. We are looking for an animal control adoption event. We're looking to have one of those. So if you're looking for a puppy or a kitten or something, please go to one of our locations. We do have the 2 animal control locations, and pick out your new pet or pets. And we would love for you guys to go ahead and adopt, or let people know that we have adoption available. Also, we are hiring. We can't say that enough. We're hiring. So if you or someone you know looking for a job, it doesn't have to be police officer, but we are hiring for various positions at the police department. You can find those available positions at www.claytonpolice.com. So please check us out there. But other than that, like I said, I've linked everything in the comments as far as how to contact community affairs, as well as the upcoming events that the chief mentioned. And the social hour, again, is next week, Thursday the 13th at 6:30 p.m. And we hope to see you there. That's all I have. Thank you.
Lieutenant West, can you tell them how to contact you? We have folks here that aren't on line, so don't have the chat available to them.
Yes, sir. I apologize. So we can be contacted via email at community.affairs@claytoncountyga.gov. And I'll repeat, community.affairs@claytoncountyga.gov.
Great. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And also, let me add, because, we've got to show that we support our officers. And we've had in the last several months, several outbreaks and attacks on our animal control. And let me let you all just know, I'm going to support our officers, and I'm going to support Captain Turnipseed, because she is doing a fine job over there. She's doing what she can up under Chief Roberts to make sure this county treats not only its citizens, but its animal with the utmost respect. So I just want to let you all know that.
Commissioner,
Yes.
before you move on, that was my last talking point. I know that Lieutenant mentioned that we have animals available for adoption and rescue. We are at capacity, and for those in attendance and online, the reason we are at capacity is because we had a hoarding case just a few weeks ago where we had to take in 18 animals in addition to the daily intake, which averages about 9 just from the community alone. So that put us in an unusually full number. And of course, we don't like to euthanize animals. So as the lieutenant said, it's really urgent that we get some support through rescue and adoption right now.
Great. Great. Thank you, Chief, and appreciate all that you and your staff do.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Yes, this is Judy Taylor. I have something for Chief Roberts and for Captain Flynn. Of course, I want to thank Captain Flynn and District 4 for what they've been doing to help us with the fast, noisy cars that fly through our neighborhood and make it so dangerous. They have been helping us with that issue, and it is an improvement. Of course, we still have all the fast cars up on Terra Boulevard, but yet again, and they come from up there sometimes in our neighborhood, and sometimes it's our folks that go too fast. I appreciate them very much. I just wondered if there was a follow-up about the Tara Woods Apartments. I know that we've got a big issue there with the water, and I don't know. I know that the chief said something was going to happen like at our last meeting, which was a couple of months ago, but I have not seen any difference up there. So I don't know what was supposed to happen, but we do. So I don't know what's happening up there.
Ms. Taylor, I'm going to address that very briefly at the end, the Terra Woods. That's
Okay.
all
No,
right.
you come back to that. Can I answer?
Yes.
I have another
Yes, ma'am.
question too. And this would be a clarification from the chief. Because we had such a bad fireworks situation the whole week before the 4th of July, during the 4th of July, after the 4th of July, it sounded like World War II and everything else too. We need a clarification so that we all understand. Well, I know that we have the state laws and then we have local noise ordinance and everything. We need to know, like if it was right now on this Saturday, if somebody was out there shooting fireworks and everything and making a lot of noise and everything else in the neighborhood, would we be able to call the police and have something done about that? Or do we have to just put up with it and then hope that maybe the state will change their rules and regulations? I do know it says something about the noise ordinance in there. So we need clarification. We know we can't do much about it during the holidays, certain holidays that are listed in certain times, but yet people just do it all the time. And so, and it's horrible for our animals and for anybody in the neighborhood that doesn't want to have to put up with this day and night. So I need a good clarification of what we can do about this if we have these issues in our neighborhoods, please.
So a great question, Ms. Taylor, and our ordinances and align with state law and define the hours and times when those fireworks can be set off. And yes, a week before is not within the ordinance and policy. I don't have the date or the ordinance in front of me, but what I would encourage us to do is on those times that are outside the dates listed in the time frame, yes, we need you to call. So I know it's frustrating. I think,
Yes. Someone, can you mute your?
there she goes. On those holiday dates where those fireworks are considered so robust that we can't respond because we get so many calls on New Year's, 4th of July, Memorial Day, those days, it's challenging for us to respond to all those calls. But outside of that, those holiday windows, the days before and the days after, we need to be calling in reference to the times indicated on the ordinance. And I don't know if the captain or Lieutenant West can help me with those times, but yes, ma'am. On those non-holiday dates and times, please call 911 in reference to those noise violations through fireworks or any noise violations, because it has an adverse effect on our veterans as well as our animals. And I see the captain keyed up. Captain, you wouldn't happen to know the window.
It's your usual holiday dates, like what you were saying. It's going to be, December 31st, January 1st, Memorial Day, whatever the weekend that Memorial Day winds up falling on, up until midnight on those days, and 4th of July. That's the ones that are identified specifically in the state law. Are those days are the ones where fireworks are essentially permissible up until midnight on those days.
And I believe any other day that someone wants to do fireworks, it must be permitted, and I believe they have to end at 10 p.m.
So
Yes, sir.
with that, Ms. Taylor, yes, we're expecting you to call so we can address that issue.
Because I know the noise ordinance said if you can hear disturbing noises 50 feet away from the origin or something like that, you know, that's our noise ordinance. We can call that in and ask for an officer, and they've done that. We actually had a big party down the street one night, and they had a mariachi band out there, and they had everybody playing everything outside. So we had to get officers, you know, come, and they did come and issue a warning, and it was great and everything too. But even during the time when they could do the fireworks, they will set up a container out in the middle of the street out there and shoot off fireworks there, and they have to pick it up when a car comes along, put it back out there again. I know they're not supposed to be able to do that. That's my understanding. You cannot shoot fireworks off from the right of way and the street in a neighborhood like this. Is that correct?
You are correct, and it creates a roadway obstruction. So yes, we need you to give us, you and your neighbors, to give us a call on those matters in those instances.
All right, I just needed a clarification because people call me all the time saying, what can we do about that? We can't do anything. They're allowing them to shoot them off anytime they want to. And that's not true. I try to explain that.
And one more thing, Commissioner, in reference to Ms. Taylor's question. I think I said it before in another meeting, and Ms. Taylor, to reduce your phone calls, let's direct your neighbors to go to Clayton County Municode if they have access to the internet, and they can see the same ordinances that we use to enforce quality of life issues, and hopefully that'll reduce your phone calls. But you're right on point.
I always do tell them the section and the code and everything, but that one's very ambiguous, and it had to be that way because of the way the state law came about. And it just made, they don't connect our noise ordinance to that state ordinance and everything else too. Sometimes it's a little bit hard because we don't have a fireworks ordinance, you know, like in there listed. If you look, you won't see fireworks ordinance. You're going to see noise ordinance and everything. It would help to have that clarified if we could.
All right, thank you. Do we have anybody on from code enforcement?
Hi, that would be
There we
me.
go. Good morning.
How you doing?
We're all doing well in here.
Okay, just giving you a rundown of what we're doing in code enforcement. Of course, you know, we're continuing to blitz the different neighborhoods. And that's coming along pretty good. I think we've hit about 13 subdivisions since March the 23rd. One of the things that we're definitely having a problem with is food trucks, and I guess people that are trying to buy these trucks and make different businesses out of them, but they want to park them at their properties where they live. So that's one of our biggest tasks right now. We've been taking them to court, but you know, they'll go in, they'll pay the fine. So what we're doing is we're asking the district attorney to not let them pay the fine. We want them to go before the judge. But other than that, of course, we're dealing with people calling us about the water issue. So we're kind of turning them away on that because we really don't have anything to do with that portion of it. Other than that, hopefully we're doing pretty good with a lot of these subdivisions. We have so many more to go. I didn't know District 4 was as big as it was. Thank you, Mr. DeMott, for that, Commissioner DeMott. But I am
clean. We're clean in District 4.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay on it. I'm learning new areas that I didn't think was District 4. But what I'm trying to do is I'm definitely trying to hit the really, really bad areas. And it is a challenge right now. I can tell you that because you have a lot of people that, of course, they've been living there for 20, 30 years and they don't want you to tell them what to do with their property. But I'm on it, and either we're going to clean it or we're going to go to court, pay a fine. But other than that, that's all I have for this week.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your work and your efforts. I know it's a tedious and immense task, but we've got to work. We got to get it done.
How to do it.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't see Troy on there from Parks and Rec.
This is Bernice Easley. I'd like to say something to code enforcement, to Ms. Edwards and her team. I just want to give them a shout out for the Valley Hill area. I'm on Rivercrest, and they shut down a garage sale that was happening ongoing, and they have not started it back up. The day that you had the event over to the church, that's the day it was shut down. And I'm so happy that, of course, that little area is still a little eyesore, but that's okay. They're not having the garage sales anymore. That has stopped. And then even personally for me, I had a next door neighbor that her yard is cleaned up. The backyard is cleaned up now. It really looks good. So I want to give a shout out to them for that, as well as I want to ask a question about grass, cutting grass going toward past the school, going toward the I don't know my direction here. I think it's west, going toward Upper Riverdale Road that way. Is that
Riverdale Middle School?
Yeah, well, it's Sequoia and Harper now.
Oh, Sequoia, okay, so yes.
Yeah, but when you go past that, not going toward the bridge, but the other direction where those townhouses and stuff, who's responsible for that? Because we do have a little bit of a sidewalk, which I've always tried to get sidewalks going all the way up there, but that seems like it's never gonna happen. But even with that little sidewalk, who's responsible for all that grass right there, cutting that where those mortar stands? I've said that once before and they did cut it, but then it continues to happen. They just don't cut that grass.
If that's where I'm thinking, that's the county's responsibility right there. That's not a private property. I actually drove that area, so I do, and I didn't put that on my list, but I do have a grass cutting and some shrub cuttings over there on Roberts Drive, and I believe the south end of Valley Hill.
Okay, this not where it could
Yeah,
be.
you're
all the way
talking the
up to
north end,
Rock.
so I'm putting that on my list now then.
Yeah, just going up there, you know, where that service station, I think it's a Chevron.
Yes,
across
ma'am.
the street from that, with those, that's where that complex is, townhouse for townhouses, all up there. It's just that grass just be ridiculous.
Great. Okay, I've got it on the list now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for telling us about those issues. That's how we get things done. I don't mind folks saying what's wrong with this community, because we got to get it fixed. If we don't know, we can't do. So please tell us what's going on good, but please tell me what's going on that we need cleaned, that we need upgraded. And just to let you know, Valley Hill and Roberts Drive between Riverdale Middle and Riverdale High School are on my list for sidewalks. Granted, sidewalks are extremely expensive. That list is immense where folks want those sidewalks, but we've got to get them put in. And my whole thought is, especially around these schools, we've got to make sure our young folks are safe walking to and from school. She have a question. Who has a question? We have one. We got a hand up. Who was that? I don't see it. Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Walker, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing today?
We're doing well.
All right, I have a couple of questions. I want to talk about code. I'm going to ask code enforcement. Is there any place in this county that's a designated place for food trucks to go?
I think that food trucks can only be operated whenever we're having like a function or something. I don't think you can just go out and just sell food.
No, I don't believe there is an ordinance for it. Food trucks in Clayton County are a new anomaly, and we've got to begin to prepare for them. So we've got to begin to look at ordinance, because you stated something earlier, and I was going to ask that question on it. So I'm glad you said this. So you're telling me that food trucks cannot be parked in a residential lot, even if it's on the driveway parked legally?
They can't be parked in a residential area. And it depends on, of course, the length of the truck, the width of the truck. And I guess they're buying these trucks from like U-Hauls and other different places, and they're making them out of food trucks.
Okay.
But they can't be parked in residential.
Thank you.
Okay, my next question is about, you talked about sidewalks, and we discussed this before. These sidewalks are needed on, like up here on Fielder Road, where these kids be walking to Mount Zion High School. Because I'm noticing, well, when school was in, I'm noticing that, kids are walking that way for whatever reason. I know they have a bus, but they decide to walk. And, that could be an accident waiting to happen. Because sometimes they're walking in little groups, and you
Mhm.
know how kids are. They start playing and just anything might happen.
there is a sidewalk on the school side. Well, I'm sorry, that's on Mount Zion. On Fielder Road, my number one issue is that there's no fencing going over I-75, that bridge.
Right.
That's my number one issue right there, going forward. I mean, to me, that is terrifying. So that's the number one, but Fielder Road is another one. We've got to begin to get sidewalks on. We need so many miles of sidewalks in this county, it's ridiculous. And
Ridiculous.
we've got to figure out a way to address it and address it correctly. As we stated earlier, we rolled the millage rate back. So we don't have an increased operating expense to begin to go after and do a lot of these services. So we've got to be smart, even in our rollbacks going forth from here.
Okay, and I have one more comment about, again, I talked about this before and it was clean, but it's getting kind of dirty again. Over
What's that?
here by Home Depot, you know where Chick-fil-A is? There's a Chick-fil-A over there, there's a Home Depot facing it.
Mhm.
And this is also in that Mount Zion area, like
Yes.
right over in there, it's just like, it's like people just
Yeah.
open up their whole car and throw trash over there, but it's really getting bad.
Okay, well, I'll put that on the list. Plus, too, you must have been talking to my wife because she talks about that area right there all the time. Because her office is right across the street from Home Depot. So I got to hear about that weekly. So are you all having a meeting?
No, we're not, but you know, great minds go together.
I got you. Well, thank you. And I got that. I'm making a note of that as well.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner,
Yes.
on, what is, 138, I believe it's in section 138 and Highway 85,
Mhm.
where that Church's Chicken sets,
Correct.
there's a tire place next to there. It's tires, it's a little section, it's got a fence between
Okay.
behind the Church's
That's,
Chicken.
it's
right
on
next-
Highway 85 or is it on 138?
It's 138 if you go this way, you turn it, the way he's sitting in the front of him, it is Highway 85. But the corner is sitting like Church's Chicken sits on that corner.
Yeah, okay. I'm
Okay,
thinking of the tire store caddy corner there.
right.
Okay, by the Chevron.
That particular area behind there is
Okay.
nothing but tires. I mean, they're piled up. I meant to call code enforcement. I hadn't got an opportunity, but it's really bad. It looks terrible.
Code enforcement, you got that?
I got it.
Thank you.
That's behind the churches.
Also, the grass need to be cut on North Main Street. On that left hand side.
North Main Street. We're on North Main.
In Jonesboro.
Check, we gotta check that and see if that's City of Jonesboro or us.
Okay.
Okay, or North Main. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Hey,
Good. Speak up loud so those folks online can also hear your questions.
okay. So, for enforcement.
Mhm.
I reached out to someone, even from the office, and told them the situation. And, so I sent pictures in as well. Right on Walt Stevens
Yes.
and Spivey, right there in that section. Where I reside, it's a neighbor, and then me as at church.
Mhm.
Well, that grass that's along the bankway, on the bank. And it's going out into the street.
We've got that on the list all the way from the fire station over to the
Okay,
line. Okay.
thank you, because when I go down my driveway, because it's
Yeah.
it's a hill. And I have to almost get out in the street or for me to see the traffic comes.
So that is on the list. So and that list will get to him Monday. Because I usually try to get everything. I'll drive through the area, see what I can see, and I put them on a list and I try to get them over to the warden on Mondays.
Thank you.
Okay? So anything anyone has, just let me know. Where are we? All right, do we have, help me out, chief, because I'm all over the place here now. Parks and Rec, do we have anybody from Parks and Rec on? I can give you kind of a brief update. We are resurfacing the tennis courts at many of the parks. The tennis center over Lake Spivey is going to be redone, as well as putting permanent pickleball courts in over there as well. So we're looking to have those done here sometime in the near future. And we're really trying to upgrade the aesthetics so it looks like a true tennis center, so that we can begin to attract not just our residents that come over there more, but also small college invitational tournaments that they can come and use it as well. That is an economic impact to our county when we begin to host events like that. So just to let you know that.
Commissioner.
Yes,
But since we're on that subject, Roberts Drive, for the middle school and high school.
yes.
Are there any plans to pave that street? I've been here 36 years, so it's never been
I don't-
paved.
I have, honestly, I have to say, I didn't see that one on the list.
Because I'm trying to figure out why. They did, what was it, Taylor Road? And they stopped right there at the high school and nothing was done.
Okay. Roberts Drive,
Patches have patches and they're just not.
okay. Let me put. And that's between the middle, because I've looked at the sidewalk, which
Right.
we've got overgrown shrubs coming on the sidewalk.
Right.
So we want to take care of that, so, but pavement, okay. You guys have to forgive me as I write this down.
Right. You understand?
Commissioner,
Yes,
you're referring to the sidewalks. Is
Mhm.
there, I'm not quite sure what blocks cover, but because it's near schools. That could not be considered in something like that, or?
it can, but you have to realize when we vote on SPOS, we're voting on projects that are already, they're on a list, and we're saying, look, this SPOS is gonna cover these projects. I do want to begin to put a lot more sidewalks and begin to meet diligently with the Board of Education, because they have an E-SPOS as well. And for me, there's a certain area where you cannot be bused. You have to walk to school or have your parents drive you. To me, that area, plus, let's just say 400 meters, needs to be sidewalked when they build or begin to do some renovation on the school. We've got to begin to keep that. But as far as that, I am looking at putting this in the next SPOS, which I think is 2026 or 25. Yes. Because we have some things as far as our infrastructure that we really need to address. Let's see what else we got here. So I've gotten that. Let's go. Let me give you a quick SPOS update since you went there. Our Poston Way Government Fueling Station is under construction right now. That's going to give us another fueling station for our vehicles, our county vehicles. The Reynolds Nature Preserve restrooms are completed. That project is completed and they're very, very nice. Our Sona Singleton Gregory Senior Center, the landscaping has been completed over there at that center. And our police precinct sector 2, the landscaping is underway. This goes into beautification. I think when folks see nice things, they're less apt to litter and to throw garbage out. Most people, okay? You can't legislate morality.
Yeah, but on that note, too, like around Riverdale Middle and High School.
Mhm.
Is there a way to put trash cans or something? Because there's.
Outside the schools, that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
but the kids walking, if they see them with some notes or whatever, I mean, there's a signs.
They're gonna shoot that shot and minutes, they still gonna be all over the place. No, that makes a lot of sense. I'll put that down as idea.
At least to look at it.
I like
I
that
don't
though.
see any. Remind them that this is their home too.
Yes.
Protected.
Yes. All righty, so we went through that. I want to give you a quick, because I don't have anybody on here from the state, from our delegation. Or do I? Just want to make sure I don't speak out of turn. Do we have anybody from the delegation? I don't believe so. We'll give you just a couple of highlights from it. One, a House Bill 517, it failed, which I'm glad it did fail. That's a bill that was going to give state control to our design standards here in Clayton County. So a builder could come from anywhere he wanted to and build whatever they wanted to. In a sense, we had no say so. We do have a bill that has been introduced, Code of Ethics bill. That's House Bill 678. It was introduced by one of our representatives on our delegation. So I believe that's still coming up in the next session. And also too, we have House Bill 374 that was passed. That's a de-annexation. That gives the county a little bit more leverage on de-annexation of municipal areas. When landowners request it, as long as it is in a contiguous block. Because before, cities could go out and say, we just want to annex this part of the county. And once we receive something, the clock already started ticking. And it was just crazy because if we went and tried to sue, to take them to court, we still had to pay the majority of those court fees. So it helps us in trying to maintain control of what we want to see in this county and not relinquish control. So we do have that. Okay, now this is where we're getting down. I'm 40. Southern Regional, in the last budget, we allocated $7 million to Southern Regional. And I know I've gotten a couple of calls about this because of misinformation saying we've given Southern Regional a blank check. That is not true. Southern Regional is a hospital here in Clayton County. We need a hospital in Clayton County. And the $7 million goes for indigent care. We have a lot of folks here without insurance, and that's not good. And so they use emergency room as their primary care physician many times. And Southern Regional spends X amount of millions of dollars a month taking care of the indigent care that do not have insurance. So what we have done was speaking with the CEO of the hospital. And really they are doing a fabulous job over there, is trying to assist them in taking care of those indigent folks. So that's what that $7 million was for. It was for that. It's not a blank check where they can go out and buy cars with it or do whatever they want. That's what it's for. Because I still ask the question, would I prefer to give $7 million or even a little more to keep a hospital in Clayton County? Or would I prefer to keep that money and have my citizens dying because they have to go to Grady or go to somewhere else and can't get there in time? So to me, this is a no-brainer. We've got to begin to work with Southern Regional to keep them here in this county. So I think it was a proper move for us to do. So. Okay. So make sure that we're doing the right thing. So that was one, and you all can ask questions on this if you want. Two, we had an amendment to our budget to give the sheriff, to amend the budget for the sheriff for the locks and hinges in the jail of $3.64 million. A lot of folks think that's an additional piece of money that we're giving. That is not. That was just to amend the budget from what we had given them before to handle that. What you all have to remember is that court in that jail is your court and jail. It has to be maintained by the county. The sheriffs operate the jail and of course have to service it. So when items are broken in that jail and not operating, we've got to fix it. That money is going to go for those hinges and locks is paid out of our budget by maintenance. So maintenance is in control of that money, not the sheriff's office in particular. The Roman United project that you've heard about is dead. No more. It is no more. And we are working diligently to recoup those funds that were given to them. So I wanted to let you know that. And just a brief statement, and Chief, you can jump in here if you'd like. The Terra Woods, right now, Terra Woods has a sign out that the water is going to be shut off on that property. We have nothing to do with that. That is the water authority. If you all don't pay your water bill, you're in danger of having your water shut off. That's the same thing. What we're doing is just really kind of monitoring the situation on what the water authority is doing. We aren't controlling that situation. We're not driving that situation, just to let you all know. Chief, is there anything you'd like to add on that?
Commissioner, I think the chief already signed off.
Okay. Okay. So that's where we are with that. So yes, ma'am.
On the Terra Woods, is there something that, I don't know, an ordinance or something be placed, because the people that's suffering are the folks that paid the bill. So what can
Well,
in the county do for
and that's what we have to begin to look at. And I had a meeting this week with many of the nonprofits, not just, it wasn't for Terra Woods, but it was to begin to address our homeless plight in this county. To me, if that water is turned off, those folks now become homeless, and we've got to begin to address it. So I'm glad that we've been looking at ways of handling it and looking at what kind of housing stock, if you want to call it, temporary housing for a lot of our homeless and soon to be homeless population that we could begin to service. And this might be an exercise in that come Monday if Clayton County Water turns their water off. Yes, and for me, it is the same thing. That's my concern. It's always the people of it. I'm paying you in good faith. I want my services rendered at a quality that are acceptable to me. Yes, any questions from anyone?
Commissioner Davis, this is
Yes.
Judy Taylor again.
Mhm.
I have several things. One thing is, who is responsible, like up on Terra Boulevard, between Patton Road where the dollar store is and Sherwood up there, going up through there. There's always 3 cars parked right there, backed up on a property that's vacant next to that church that sits up there and everything too. And they're for sale. They're sitting right along the edge on the, practically on the right of way. They got signs on them. They're for sale.
Okay.
That property. So who is responsible? They're always there. They're still there. They've been there and everything else too. I can't figure out how to get rid of those, because how dangerous that is, that people stop right there and look at those cars to check them out and all like that. So how do we get those cars moved and make the owner of that property responsible for either blocking it off or doing something, because they're always there and it's very dangerous right there. And
On
it's
that one,
between,
code enforcement, do you have that one?
Yes, sir, we do.
Great. Let's check
We
on that.
actually have a case on that property. We've already sent out certified letters to the owners. I've also asked PD to go out and tag the vehicles to see if we can go ahead on and get rid of them. They will take them away and they will bring them back. So that means that we're opening up another case. So my thing is, I'm going to continue to call PD and see if they can tag the vehicles and give them so many days to move it. We have been having trouble contacting the owner, but we're just going we're going to go a little bit further and go through state and see if we can find out any additional addresses for the owner.
And just let you know, Ms. Taylor, as well, that small corridor right there is in dire need of it, because there's at least 200 to 300 cars parked between Battle Creek and Sherwood. And so we've got to begin to address it. And
well, it's a big mess,
Right.
especially right there near Carter Drive,
Yeah.
where they have all those cars out there that they're working on constantly, and we have tires everywhere, all up and down through there. That needs to be addressed. And of course, I appreciate that y'all are working on that. The other thing I had was about making sure, I asked you one more time to remind you to deny the rezoning of the on 138 near Walt Stevens of the multifamily townhouses. It's coming up one more time. It's been on the agenda for 4 months now, and it's up on the agenda again on July 18th. I'm just reminding you to deny them being able to put those townhouses there close to these residential neighborhoods.
All right, then let's just go ahead and jump ahead, and then I'll come back to the question and answer. Is that all right? The upcoming zoning and permits that are coming up. And I'll jump to the one she's speaking about. 1535 and 1565 Highway 138. That is right down the street on 138 from police headquarters on both sides of the street. And I tell folks this, I'm going to give, whether I agree or not agree, give folks the right to at least come and present their case. Yes, it's been 4 months, and I've spoken to them as of last week, again on there, and let them know where I stand. And I've stated this several times. Right now is not the season for multifamily here in Clayton County. It is just not. Our infrastructure is not up to par, and we've given our PD and fire a much needed raise, but they're still understaffed. So we cannot tax our services any further with something like that. So I don't want, I can't say here I'm denying it, but I'm against multifamily. How is that? I will state that. We have another one, 7840 Rand Road. They've actually come to me again, and they've changed their property. That's right to the entrance to the water, to the International Park. They changed their conceptual design to have single family around the perimeter of that, and then townhomes in the center. Still not up to snuff with what we need. Plus the width and size of the lots for the single family aren't commensurate with the neighborhood next door. And I'm drawing a blank on the subdivision next door to that on 138. anybody can help me.
Woods,
No.
is it Autumn Woods?
No, it's not Autumn Woods. It's on 138, across the street from the water park going east a little bit.
Well, Mullins,
I just can't, I'm drawing a blank on it. But anyway, something coming needs to be commensurate with that. And then the other part of that was the housing prices started right around 300,000. So we've got that to deal with. Another one, we have some on 9298 Terra Boulevard. MXI, I know you all will really love this one. A truck stop, i.e. restaurant, which is, I just don't consider fast food restaurants, drive-throughs or drive-through places to go eat a restaurant. But we have something that is there wanting to rezone, that's coming before us as well. I don't think that's the proper location for that. And then we have the last one here. You all know where the old Goodyear is, right there on 138 past Terra Boulevard. It's been shut down for several years. It's an eyesore and it's blight. We have someone that wants to buy that. There's a company called Tent World. And granted, when you hear the term a tent shop, we all go to the negative, but this is a franchise. I went to visit them yesterday in Chamblee, and they have another one in Norcross. I was pleasantly surprised at the aesthetics of these franchises and what they're mandated to do and how the franchise, the person in charge of franchises come check on that. That I'm gonna consider that looks like it could be advantageous to that area, especially right where it is. And also too, we have to think, what else could we do with that facility? What else could it be in there? So that's something to begin to think about as well. Go ahead, question. I see your face. Go ahead.
So what is it again?
It's called Tent World. And they tent windows for custom cars, they wrap cars. They would not be storing cars overnight or anything like that. So, but like I said, I wanted to see the stores. And I'm not into cars or anything, but it was a good looking franchise.
Well, you know,
Go
Commissioner,
ahead.
I guess a lot of businesses, they start off
Mhm.
keeping up their property and studies, but I think it's up to us in the county to make sure that they continue
Correct.
throughout the years, because
You're right.
I've seen that in Riverdale, we're adjacent to. So.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to begin to do is anytime we approve a business, they've got to keep it not just the front of their business, but to the curb.
So you say you went to what areas?
It was one in Chamblee, one in Norcross.
Okay, you got Chamblee, Norcross, Riverdale.
Yeah, but parts of Chamblee, yeah. Well, this is not in Riverdale. This would actually be considered Jonesboro. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yes, sir.
So while we're talking about that general location,
Mhm.
I don't know if you're aware, but in the woods there behind, I guess, behind the Kroger Plaza.
Correct.
And behind where that Goodyear is, and behind where the Aldi's is,
Yeah.
there is a huge homeless community in those woods.
Is there?
Oh, yeah, and it is a disaster back there.
I know they're gonna be building a senior living back there because I think that's part of the property First Christian Church owns.
Well,
That's
it is,
what's
I
cool.
guess somebody
Yeah.
owns that property. But
Yeah,
there
First
is
Christian Church.
garbage, you know, whole community back there
When I tell what's the.
Okay, great.
you know where the Aldi's is?
Yeah.
If you just walk out of that,
Really?
if you walk off the backside of the.
Do you all hear what he's saying online? Raise your
No,
hand.
not really, not really.
Okay.
No.
You didn't? Okay, what he's stating, he says behind, over there by the Goodyear, closed down Goodyear tire store and the Aldi's is a big homeless community. You know where the cross is, right there on 138, when you cross over Terra Boulevard, traveling west. There's a cross on the left-hand side. Sugar Bush is over there, Kroger's is over there. Anyway, saying there's a homeless population within there, and I never knew that, so
So I
we'll
just,
address
I
that.
was at Aldi's and I saw something back in the woods, and I just walked back in there in the woods, and I was like, the garbage is back there is unreal, but I don't know how many people were in the community, I didn't go back there to check it out,
Good.
but I saw that there was a sign, kind of like a tent community back
Okay.
there.
All right, well, we'll go check that out and see what's going on. Okay, back to the questions. I wanted to give you all those on the upcoming zoning and permit requests. Questions online?
Commissioner Davis, and this is Judy Taylor. I had a big long list, so I hope this will be my last one. Anyway, that, I was gonna just mention, the name of that there is Crossroads Parkway that connects there that you were talking about, and it's one of the most reported and worst trash dumps that poor old refuge control has to work on constantly through there. And they throw their mattresses out there, so the homeless people use the mattresses and stay all up in there. So it is a big mess. But what I wanted to mention is about, like, we have neighborhoods that have been here a long time. They don't have HOAs and will not have HOAs. They don't want them. But anyway, we're adding so many things into the neighborhoods that are so disruptive. We allow boarding houses, group homes, daycares, Airbnbs, short-term vacation rentals, and everything else. We certainly don't need food trucks in our neighborhoods. If anything else comes in here, the people that have lived here for such a long time that are so disturbed by all of this, they're not going to live here. And they're the ones that are only ones we have actually looking after our property and everything else too. We also have construction equipment all over our neighborhoods where people operate out of their homes and bring it all home. They're not going up there on Terra Boulevard and renting a place and paying. They'll bring all their stuff home to their property there too, and put it behind their house and do what they can. So we just need to protect these neighborhoods that we've had such a long time and keep them clean and not keep adding things to the neighborhood. These are single family residential neighborhoods. I don't think they should even call them that anymore. So I hope we can be careful about what we add on.
I agree, and I believe in smart growth. And we have to control our infrastructure in developing our infrastructure and developing, we are going to grow, but understanding how we're going to grow. Let's grow smartly, but as you say, there's many different, I'll call them businesses that we want to keep out. You know, some of them are already here. I will not support them, but some of them are already here.
Commissioner Davis, this is Janice Arcuria. I have a question on the same line.
Yes.
Why can't people doing landscaping work for yards park their landscaping, usually pickup and long trailer, in the yard of the house they're working on? It's getting to be dangerous, and the residential streets, especially if there's any small hills, you suddenly come up on a trailer and a truck parked on the side of the road, and you've got to go around them without good visibility, and then maybe 3 houses down, there's another one. It seems like if they're doing work on a particular property, they can pull in their driveway and get off the roadway.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but realistically, some of those trucks are pretty long because they're pulling a trailer with lawnmowers on them. It would be very, hypothetically, it sounds good, but it would be very difficult for even around our area to begin to pull a truck in that has an uphill driveway.
Then I guess they need to have a better system of cones and something, because I've almost run up the back of some of those trailers. You go over a small hill and suddenly there's a trailer in front of you in the drive lane.
Gotcha, understand.
I mean, of small streets, you know, you only have 2 areas to drive in, the right side or the wrong side, you know, and suddenly you're on top of something.
I understand. And
I presume you also got the email I did about the signage
yes,
at the park.
yes. And I passed that over their Parks and Rec so they can begin to look at it.
Yeah, because I noticed again when I went, the other areas of the divided road, there is a do not enter sign, but in the area where you enter from Spivey Splash parking lot, all it has is a sign that graphically indicates a divided road. And the driver I saw obviously was confused by that and drove on the wrong side.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that because there's a couple other issues I also want to address. And I've spoken to Troy Hodges about them as well. But I passed that email on about the signage. Anything else?
I have a
Go
tree
ahead.
in
Go
the
ahead.
neighborhood,
Mhm.
and it's given in the fall. Would that be refuge control or code enforcement? And I have a picture of it,
Depends on where that tree is. If the tree's on private property,
and it's not on property.
okay, then we have to look, is it under a power line? Because if that's under a power line or something's going over a power line, that's Georgia Power. If not, right away, it is us.
It's like.
I'll take a look at the
Okay.
picture.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
you were
sorry.
talking about the upgrades with the tennis centers in the county,
Mm,
but speaking of the International Park itself, there are so many facilities in there. It's just one address for multiple
Yeah,
things, and there's limited, if any, signage
for,
directing.
and that has been addressed as well. They're going to be, like, for instance, they're going to be redoing the amphitheater over there. So we're gonna have a lot of construction in there. But one of the main issues over there has been signage. Well, where is where is that? And everything is, I can't remember the address, but everything is on one address and we've got to figure out what happened. So, yes, that is an issue. And it is on the list.
And what signage you do have, somebody sprayed yellow spray paint all over it.
Which sign?
All of the direction signs over there at the park. I just noticed it a couple days ago.
It must have just happened. So, okay.
Yeah, like I say,
By the playground? Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I mean, all over the park, somebody sprayed yellow spray paint all over the signs.
Like I say, you can't legislate morale or cleanliness. Yes. Any other questions? We have something online? Ms. Walker?
Yes, I have a question. Can you talk about what are they building on 138 in Tara Boulevard? That's like right across the street from that Walgreens. I think it used to be a Citgo gas station at one point.
They're redoing that because they were redoing the sidewalks in the road over there. Right now, there is nothing planned on that corner right now. We've had folks that have wanted to come back and put a gas station and do some other things there, and right now, it's been a no-go.
Why not remove
The pumps,
the eyesore?
yeah, remove the pumps, remove the tank, then we get into a lot of your EPA pieces, but you're right. We've got to be,
Does somebody not own that property?
yes,
Well, why not, like I said, remove the eyesore?
I understand. Easier said than done, but yes, I agree with you. But yeah, so that's what's going on there, Ms. Walker.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question? I'm sorry.
Yes, I was just wondering what was going on there, because it's like a mess when you go by there.
The whole
And-
class, yeah, and we've got to begin to seek the owner on that, and I have not reached out as of yet. But we've got to begin to seek that owner out to begin to clean that whole plaza up.
Thank you.
I'm looking here, yes, sir.
Can we revisit what you said about the assessment and our actual tax bill?
You may revisit anything you like here.
Are you saying that our actual tax bill will likely be less than what our assessment was?
When we begin, did everyone hear that question? He's asking. Okay, because we lowered the millage rate, will your tax bill be the same that it was last year?
Or I mean, the assessment that came out, you know,
And back-
earlier this year.
Correct.
Is our tax bill likely gonna be less than what that assessment?
Yes, it will be less than that assessment. Remember, there's two parts of your tax bill, and this is minus all the exemptions. You have the millage rate that is put on your home by the county, and you have your millage rate that is put on your home by the school board. The school board millage rate is capped out at 20. They have not reduced it. They did not reduce it. We have reduced ours in order to begin to address that issue. We have nothing to do with the school board's millage rate. That's an issue you'd have to take up with them. So that's what we've done, but you figure if your assessment has even gone up. And we pulled our part back to make sure it's the same. There's still a piece that's gonna increase because of the school board.
Now, what you're saying, it doesn't include what the governor has given us, like the $300 to $500.
No, it does not. Yeah, and then also too, and I need to do this and I have not. I need to begin to establish a list of exemptions that are out there for the citizens in certain situations. So that you all can begin to make sure you're taking advantage of those. So I will put that on the list to get that as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Commissioner
Yes, ma'am.
Davis, since you're asking, I'll ask another. Naturally, I've still got a whole list, but I'm not gonna do all of them. But anyway, I saw somewhere where there's gonna be 2 pedestrian walkways over heavily traveled roads that's either been approved or has already been approved or is it being approved. And also a pocket park is planned for somewhere on Battle Creek Road. Do you happen to know where any of that is taking place? I cannot find out where any of that's happening.
I do not have that in front of me. I'm not sure if the pocket park in District 4 had been approved yet. I know in Riverdale, over in District 2, it has been. And what was your first part of your question?
It said that I think it's already been approved. It was on one of the agendas, probably a consent agenda. Something about 2 pedestrian walkways over heavily traveled roads. I was trying to figure out, is that on Terra Boulevard somewhere up there?
I'd have to take a look at that, because in order to go over Terra Boulevard, you'd have to go through the state, because that's a state road.
Right.
So I'd have to take a look at that. So the answer to your question, I don't know, but I'll look it up.
Thank you.
Pocket parks are just small little parks that they use within the community. It's like a community park. So,
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Hi, yes, I have a question. I'm fairly new to the area, meaning less than 2 years. So this is new for me. So not that the question hasn't been addressed, but in
welcome,
regards
Miss Martin. Everybody tell Miss Martin welcome.
Welcome.
Hello all. Thank you. I want to say I am a current veteran and military active duty. So I do like what I am seeing and hearing in a lot of the things that we are doing. But in regards to beautification, and I don't know where we're at with this or if it's something that has been started because I'm yet to see it. But regarding certain plaza areas, unification as far as facing front to make it all look unified versus this store is painted this color, this store has this frame. Are we in a direction to upgrade so it looks more welcoming and more patrons, more service is available in smaller plazas? And I'll give you an example. The one on, or that area we were just talking about, 138 Entire Boulevard.
Okay.
All of those areas have different color schemes. And nothing's wrong with it, but if we had uniformity.
What we've done, especially on Terra, is we've created an overlay. And what that overlay does is begin to put some standards to the aesthetics of those plazas and other buildings within a certain area. So we do have a portion of an overlay that is completed as far as the code goes, and we're working on furthering that as well. Now, but the overlay that I know we have is Upper Riverdale Road down 1941, Terra Boulevard. I don't believe we have it there on the section that you're speaking of, though. But I know we have to get it in there. Now, we did have.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was saying thank you because I think that would help increase just the look of our area and by, of course, increase the profits, increase the money, because now we're more comfortable going into establishments that have been upgraded and provide a great customer service.
I agree, and we're working on that, and hopefully it was a split vote, but they got rid of, as you all know, probably right before you got here a couple of years ago, we got rid of Keep Clayton Beautiful, which was internal. I wish we would have kept that. I voted to keep it. Hopefully we can begin to bring something back on that scale of model to begin to address a lot of our issues we have when it comes to cleanliness. Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner, on the, again, on Highway 85 and 138, there's a Marathon gas station that has a big pothole in it that's been there for years. Okay. And I mean, you can't ride across it. You gotta go almost hit the fence to get out of the driveway.
Marathon gas station? Okay.
And they have the sign sitting there that says, welcome to Riverdale, and there's trash all over it. I mean,
Let me find out, yeah, because that's kind of one of those junction points with city of, and I hate it because I'm like, my thought is this, when I drive in Clayton County, I don't care if I'm in Morrow, Lake
Right.
City, Riverdale, I'm in Clayton County.
Right.
Yeah, so I understand. So I look and see.
Well, and that's my.
Go ahead.
My concern with where we live in your district, we touch Riverdale.
Mhm.
And I'm just wondering, is there any type of cooperation between the county and the city of Riverdale? Because, you know, there are some things in the city that needs to be done, but where we live, we cannot really voice an opinion. So we're wondering, can you guys talk?
Oh, I can. If I get that list, I will. Usually, and many times when I'm driving around, I don't remember where I am. Am I in the city of, or am I in the county? But I will still write it down. But anything you have like that, please bring it to my attention, and I will begin to send it over to the mayor of Riverdale, or even the mayor of another city, to say, look, let's address it. I do have a very good relationship with a lot of the council folks in Morrow, and we talk a lot about how to keep that whole corridor clean, which goes from Clayton County to city of Morrow back to Clayton County. So we've got, and that's what we have to begin to do, and do it more aggressively. Yes. Yes, sir.
I attended the show on the road,
Mhm.
and is there any way to do that more often? Because I couldn't believe all the services that were there.
Yeah, that is put on by the chairman to begin to talk about everything that's going on. And yes, it's very informative. What I try to do is to stay right here in District 4 and begin to deal with that. We can expand it to begin to put more services on. Now, speaking of some of the services that we have in the county, and I'll get to it, on August the 12th, Saturday from 10 to 3, we will have Get Fit over at Lake Spivey, which the next meeting will be over there, where we'll begin to address a lot of the services that are needed in the county for our youth, for our homeless, for our elderly, for all the different ones. And we'll be doing a lot of health and medical screenings as well as financial as well. But I did want to throw that. Anyone else online? We got another one here. Let's go.
Can you give us an update on what's going on with the garbage collection mandate?
Garbage collection mandate, as folks know, we've done a study to find out about a universal trash pickup. Right now, they finished the study. It's a matter of they're asking for bids. I am, and I'll just, if you're, I mean, granted, I always speak my mind. I don't need everybody to agree with me. I'm against universal trash pickup.
Me too.
Me too. And my rationale is this. There are folks that keep their property clean. I do not want to have my trash bill put into my tax bill or anything else. Let me pay my trash bill outright and choose the provider I want to use. I think that's the way most folks would love it. To me, the model that is set forth, to me, the probability of it working correctly is low. The only way, to me, it would work is if Clayton County had their own refuse department where they had their own trucks. We do have a landfill to begin to move that forward. So right now, it's I'm not gonna say it's stuck, it's moving. I am adamantly against it.
Well,
Now, for you all that are, I will listen to you and see if you could change my mind.
final bids were supposed to have been submitted probably 2 months ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2 months ago.
So is
We've
that
not
where
got
they
it.
got stuck? Did they not get enough final bids that they were hoping for? Or?
Well, let me just also say this, anytime something goes to bid, I stay out of it.
Well, I know you're not part of the process.
Yeah, I stay out of
I'm
that.
sure you're aware of what's going
Yeah,
on.
I know they went through there, and I'll wait to begin to let Ms. Rogers look at those bids and begin to take a look at them, or convey them to us so we can begin. to look at
So,
them.
I mean,
And then we would vote on it from the diocese.
pie in the sky, when is that service gonna start?
Can't say. Once we begin to look at it and vote on it up, Hopefully it votes down, in my opinion, but if it votes up, it would probably start 60 to 90 days after that.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes,
if we're not gonna do the garbage, we're not doing that anytime soon. I know about the trash pickup. But if we're not gonna do that, then we need to follow our county ordinances that say that when you put your trash out there to the street, you have to be able to close the lid on your trash so that the animals and everything else don't get into it. We have people, and of course, people that take Cycle Works, that's one of their draws. They let you do that and put your bags of stuff around there and let it go as high as you want to go, and animals get into it and everything else too. We could at least follow our own ordinance that says the trash lid has to be closed and that they can't pile all this trash out there and everything else too, because especially after the 4th of July and everything with the fireworks, we had trash everywhere, and it's all over the streets and everywhere else too. So we need to get more particular about what we require of those people that are actually picking up our trash and doing it, and how people put it out there.
I agree. As far as being able for a trash lid to close, if you've got a bag of trash, sometimes the trash lids aren't gonna close all the way. But I prefer those to be up top in that trash. Most of your animals are not going to jump up in a sitting trash can. They're looking for something on the ground. So therefore, with that being said, we've got to begin to clean up. But if I know when something falls out of my trash can after they pick it up on Thursdays, I just go ahead and put it in my trash can and roll it back down. So I think we want to be diligent with ordinances, but we also want to be logical and say, look, if there's some paper on the ground, let's pick it up and put it in the trash can. And that's what I see. I mean, granted, the trash can issue is not the major issue, which is dirty in our county. It's the dumping and the throwing the fast food items out of the window of a traffic. Those are the major issues, and that's where we have to begin to clean up. As far, I don't see what you're stating as a major issue. Is there somewhat of an issue? Yes, but I think that's less than 5% of it, in my opinion.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
What problem is universal garbage collection solving?
To me, it solves the issue in that we're making sure that every home has a trash collection bin and is being picked up. So therefore, prime example, which I have them coming out to pick up, Concord Road and Elliott. Somebody's dumped their home trash out there. And we've got them coming to pick that up. To me, it begins to solve certain issues like that. But as far as what you were stating earlier on 138 past 75 or past 1941, where we have mattresses out, that problem it does not solve. But how do we begin to rectify that? That's where we have to have more amnesty days. We've allowed folks to bring in those items free of charge and begin to put them and begin to dispose of them.
And we also have a problem with the people that live in the neighborhood. We pay for our garbage pickup. They put theirs in their car and take it up to the apartments and to the gas station, and that's where they dump theirs. So it happens around. That's why some of the businesses are so messy everywhere, is people don't want to pay for garbage pickup, so they take it and dump it in their dumpsters, and they're overflowing, and we have to complain about that.
Again, we cannot legislate morality or ethics. I wish we could, but you can't.
So is the thinking that if you make everybody have garbage collection and they're paying for it in their tax bill, then everybody's going to start using their cans? And then that will alleviate what Ms. Taylor was just speaking of?
I don't believe so. In my opinion, I don't believe so. You have, and I'm just gonna be blunt, you have some people that are just plain nasty. Okay, that's the way it is. You got some people that are just plain nasty. So, and my whole thing is with folks that are on fixed incomes, I don't want to put something in their tax bill that's going to take it up.
And what about people who don't own a home that don't pay taxes? How they gonna pay? So who's paying for that?
Whoever owns that property. Now, for me, one of the things I would like to see is any home that is owned by someone out of the county. Oh, they're mandatory. It goes in their tax bill. But if you live in this county, you should have the privilege of taking care of your home the way you see fit and having trash pickup. But those in apartment complexes, yes, we need to increase the number of dumpsters in there. You know, over at our business behind Publix, we have 2 dumpsters back there. Is there times where the trash runneth over? Yes, but it's not that often that it does. But the thing is, we just gotta, you know, trash is a delicate issue. And, you know, we've got to begin to teach it from a young age, from our kids to keep their areas clean. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Davis, is
Go
there,
ahead.
is there a list? Is there a list of services that Universal Garbage will be providing to the county?
Yes, and I will go ahead and get that out to you all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you'll have to correct me because I'm not sure who it's with. Through Department of Corrections, we have the ability to contact them. Or through the prisons to come and help pick stuff up for a fee, right?
Well, that's not through, no. That's through normal refuge. Yeah, because refuge control does that. And what they're asking is, how do you get certain large items picked up? You can put that out at your driveway curb. You go to refuge, you let them know that this is my address. They come out, tell you what it will cost, you go in and pay that fee. And they come pick the item up, usually within 24 hours. I've had that done several times at my home, and the cost is minimal. I mean, extremely minimal. And I love the service. I love the service. Anyone, did I cut somebody off online?
Commissioner Davis.
Yes, I have, this is Barbara Dyer, and I had a question, Commissioner, in regards to what exactly are they doing with the property where the old Walker Nursery used to be?
Okay, that is a project being done, and they're going to show it. It's being done by the folks from Chick-fil-A, and it is a multi-purpose where they're doing art, like art studios. They're going to have a farm-to-table restaurant there, and they're going to have there's not a lot of them, but there's a couple of senior living detached townhomes back there as well, with walking trails, all of it. From what I've seen, it is going to be extremely nice and an asset to this community.
Do you know how many townhomes it will be back there?
I don't know off the top of my head, and it's they're for seniors, and I want to say they are what do you call it? The rent is established by your income.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a very good project. I've seen some of it. There's some things that they're changing right now based on the conversations we've had, but I think they will be a very, very good neighbor to what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do this.
Thank you.
Okay, and was that Mr. Curia was next?
Yes, I put my question in the chat, but currently there are different discounts that are offered by some of the trash pickup people.
Mhm.
And I'm concerned about whether they would be eliminated. I know there's some that offer seniors or for HOA members or veterans, or even by paying the whole year in advance. And if the county's ordinance passes, will all of these discounts disappear?
Some will not, and some might go. That's the way I have to answer that, because I'm not the one putting in the bid. So they're putting in the bid, so they're going to tell us what they want, how they want it. And then we have to decide how we're going to accept it, if that's the case. I know that's not the answer you wanted to hear, but that's kind of how I see it and view it.
Well, every homeowner is gonna be assessed the same amount of money.
Correct. So,
So
my thing is mine going up. Yeah.
For some cities, it's like Riverdale has had it for years.
Mhm.
And there are, because the city has said their seniors do not have to pay for sanitation, that they will absorb that, then they are exempt. So-
Correct. Now, what somebody just stated is the city of Riverdale has trash pickup and the seniors are exempt from it. What the city of Jonesboro has, I don't know. But that's where we go. That's how I begin to look at this. So Mr. Cure, I'm sorry for that kind of rogue answer, but that's kind of how I see it there.
It seems like
Commissioner,
maybe you need to follow the city of Riverdale's example and, have the bids require certain built-in, things like that.
There are certain things that bid did ask for. I'm just not, off the top of my head, knowledgeable of those.
with the trash pickup, I see this keep coming up. I thought this came up before when,
It has.
and the commissioner, Baskins was the tax commissioner. I know he was against, I don't know if Ms. Smith is or not. But yeah, why does this keep coming up? And I thought this was already broken down. And is it due to taxpayers or the voters? This guy's nothing that can be voted on. Why does this keep coming up and up when people have already indicated they don't want it?
It has come, this is the first time it's come up to me as a commissioner. Could it go to a referendum for a vote? Yes, it could go to referendum to the citizens for a vote for that. The citizens said they would welcome it, then I would be forced to go along with that. So, anyone else? We are getting down.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I want to ask a question.
That's all right.
As far as the trash service, weren't they considering putting that into your water bill?
That was another idea. But then again, let's say you don't pay for your trash service. What are they gonna do? Turn your water on?
Yeah, that's.
So there's a whole lot that goes on there. I just can't welcome it. That's just that, like I said, that's personal there. Yes, anyone else? Ms. Walker, I see you shaking your head and the yellow came around your box.
I think that if people are allowed to make their own choices, I want to select who I want to select, and I validate that and verify that with the tax office. This is who I have for my trash service. You don't need to bother me anymore. But for those people who are renting out their properties, for these people who live in these apartment complexes, that needs to be your focus. Make these people who are renting out their houses, add it to their tax bill and give them a 10% surplus just because you can. And then for the people who live in these apartment complexes, make them have a designated amount of dumpsters based on a number of people who are living in that apartment. So if you got 8 people living in this apartment, you might need 2 dumpsters just for that one family. I don't know, but it needs to be something that everybody is given their fair choice. And I'm talking about people who have lived here forever and ever and a day. They don't want to make those changes.
I just say amen. You're right. You are right. I have nothing to add. You are 100% correct.
We just gotta fight to make sure it don't happen, that's all.
Well, I always speak my mind. I'm not gonna lie to you all about anything, and that's why I told you exactly where I stand on this.
And this has not been decided as of yet, correct?
No, ma'am. We're looking for vendors and we'll begin to look at that. But again, like I said, I'm not for it. I'm definitely not for it. So that's the way we go. Anything else? We are getting into this. This is turning into one of our longest meetings we've ever had, hour and a half. It is 12:28.
Sorry.
Well, you bring up some trash and boy, folks go in. Miss Taylor, you got anything else?
Of course, I always have, I would, don't ask me about that. Because I think because we talked about the animal control issue. And it's really a sad thing because this county is going to have to do something about the people that have these animals and allow them to run loose all over Clayton County. They do not take care of them and they do not have them spayed or neutered. And there's animals everywhere. And our poor animal control, which works as hard as they can with what they have to work with and everything else. And people call them and they don't understand why they can't rush right out and pick up these animals out here. They don't have the room to pick up all of them. We've got to do some mandatory things and offer more like spay neuter, choices and things like that, and mandate. And we also got to check on these breeders. These people are advertising, they're breeding their dogs. We have an ordinance that says you've got to have a license to breed these animals and everything else too. They're breeding them and selling them online and giving them. There's plenty of animals that need to be adopted through our, through our animal control and through our humane society and everything else too. We got to do something about all these animals roaming around the neighborhood.
Well, we're going to try to address as much as we can and to fix as many problems as we can in this county. That's what we're here to do. And we're gonna find some new ones that we'll keep going to keep assessing and redoing and reassessing. So we're gonna keep doing it. And we know I listen to you all to really find out what the issues are that concern you and are close to you. And I'm always gonna do that. I do wanna say too, it's not on my list, but I wanted to let you know over here that we've had a lot of issues, and I don't want to get into it, but with erosion issues with certain subdivisions and things in this county. And we are putting together a meeting, kind of a task force collectively with a lot of those subdivisions and property owners in the county to begin to address that, to find out what we can do and what we can't do, and how do we begin to get some assistance. I just want to let you know that's still in the works. Let me go through upcoming events real quick. We know on July 11th, we have a business certification at Clayton County. I do not have that. That's through the Clayton County Central Services. That on July 11th at 10 a.m. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. I'm also hosting another business resource for professional service suppliers. That is Thursday, July 13th from 10 to 12 at the Lakeview Event Center. Of course, we're lacking the sign to tell you all where Lakeview Event Center is. So 2300 Walt Stevens. It's in the amphitheater upstairs, over by the old amphitheater at the recreation center, by the recreation center. Clayton County Police, as Chief said earlier, on July 13th from 6:30 to 8, we'll be having his hour with the chief. So you all go through there and hit him with all the questions you have. What else do we have here? We have our Clayton County DPA program is collaborating with the Metro Fair Housing Service and hosting a home buyer education seminar. That's from 9 to 4:30 on Saturday, July 15th. You can, for registration, you can email Sharon.Dukes, that's DUKES, at metrofairhousing.com. Sharon.Dukes at metrofairhousing.com. Also, the one you've been waiting for. On Monday, July 17th, we're having Senior Day at the Spivey Splash Water Park. Free for Clayton County seniors. Do not bring your kids or your grandkids to the park that day. It's from 11 to 4. Okay, I know nobody online can get in because you have to be 55 or older. So who's laughing over there? That's Monday the 17th. The park is only open from 11 to 4 because it's closed that day. And it's only open for seniors, those 55 and over, to come and enjoy the day. So I think that's going to be fun. And then on July 20th, Clayton County Police Department again is hosting a blood drive. And that's going to be July 20th at the police headquarters. And that's from 10 to 3. 10 to 3 on McDonough Road. And then, wow, PD is doing a bunch. And then on August the 1st, they're hosting a National Night Out event. That's where you come and we talked about it, get to know your neighbors, things of that nature. That's from 3 to 7. And it's going to be at the over by the South Lake Mall of what's now called the District. Of all those, it's going to be over there. And they really clean that up. It's a nice place. I think you all are going to enjoy it. So they have that. And then I'm having my Get Fit Expo. I don't know what is wrong with me talking today. My Get Fit Expo at Lake Spivey Recreation Center. That's going to be Saturday, August 12th from 10 to 3. We will have a lot of medical providers, dental screenings, medical screenings. We're also going to be having kind of the job postings out there. We're trying to get computers out there. So folks that are looking for employment, we're going to have a hotspot set up out there and computers where folks can get online while they're there. DA will be there, police will be there, fire will be there, and they'll have booths set up. So if you have folks and young folks that are looking for employment, have them come on out there. They can begin to talk to those folks and get answers on the spot. So I think that's great. Our next meeting is going to be that same day, Saturday, August the 12th. It is going to be at Lake Spivey Rec Center. Okay, Lakes, not here, Lake Spivey Rec Center. So even those online are coming over, correct? Correct?
Yes, sir,
Maybe.
we're coming.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
We're coming over.
So you all come on over, get screened, blood pressure screenings, dental screenings. We really want to make sure that we're taking care of our community the right way. And these things are near and dear to my heart, is to make sure that we look at the county providing a certain type of quality of life, but you all are also responsible for maintaining a quality of life. So let's come on out and get checked for free out there. Anything else?
Yes, Commissioner, are you doing a back to school drive?
I'm not doing a back to school drive. I am doing a father-son back to school event, brunch. Oh man, I didn't bring that in, so I don't have the date on that, but it's after school starts, because school starts on the 1st or August 1st or 2nd. It's one of those. The 2nd? So school starts on the 2nd. I will just be flying back into town. So really, if we're gonna get things for back to school, it would have to be in the next 2 weeks. And I leave, my schedule is booked. I leave on the 14th, going to Los Angeles to celebrate my mother's 80th birthday. I'll be back. I will be back on the 17th, and then I leave to the 20th, going to Austin, Texas for a NACO event. I will come back on the 25th in the morning, and on the 25th in the afternoon, I leave going to Cancun for our family vacation. And I'll be back on the 1st. So.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes,
This
ma'am.
is Janice Arcuri. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
On your father-son event, just a comment.
Mhm.
Is there a way it could be advertised that it's basically father or significant male? There's so many children whose fathers are not present.
Yes.
And, you know, sometimes they don't feel welcome if it's advertised just father-son.
I got you. We'll call it father-son, but you're absolutely right. We have to begin to do that. This is gonna be the first one I've done since before COVID. It was a grand hit. My wife makes sure there are white tablecloths. We do not eat off paper plates. We have a speaker there. We play more of a game where the fathers and the sons can get to know each other. I think this is what's important for our community to begin to move forward, to keep these families intact and to keep them together, so that the fathers or the significant others know their responsibilities in moving forward. So I love the event. It is not county paid for. My wife and I pay for this out of our own pockets to make this happen. And I'm going to always continue to do it. I just think it's extremely important. And for me to sit back and see, you know, a grandfather, a father, and the sons all sitting at the table was just a blessing to see. And it lets us know that we can talk about how many issues we may have, but we have so many blessings before us. They're too numerous to count. And so what I will take that into consideration is security. I'm not taking into consideration, but I will make sure that I put a note on the flyer for that.
Commissioner,
Yes.
is there a list? You've named several events now. I'm
Yes.
just wondering, is there a list of events somewhere on our page, or is it in the calendar? There's several. I'm sure everybody didn't write them all down.
Yes, Denise will be sending, you all have been getting the little.
Yes, from Denise, yeah.
Denise will put it on. She's not here today. We've got the notes. She has the agenda, and I will get her my notes this afternoon. So she will go ahead and put that together. So all those events will be there.
Thank you.
Okay. And a lot of them are also on my Facebook page. And also too, I'm sorry, there's one more event. Saturday, July 22nd from 9 to 2 at the Charlie Griswold Center, there is a garage sale and fish fry. I didn't have that listed. And there's going to be vendors there as well. So that's at the Charlie Griswold Center. That's over at the Lake Spivey, what they call the International Park area. Again, like
Out of tennis courts.
yeah, the same address as everything else, 2300 Highway 138. Okay.
I'm sorry, what date was that?
I'm sorry,
What date was that?
July 22nd, Saturday. And if you want to contact the contact, I'm reading off the list here, Betty Merritts, MERRITTS. And her number is 770-946-1452. 770-946-1452. Okay. Are we good? Everybody got some questions answered for today? I know you'll think of many more once you walk outside. Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their Saturday and just coming here to sit and to learn what's going on, but also to voice your opinion and let me know what I need to do. Remember, I always tell folks, I work for every director. I work for the chief of police. I also work for you all as well. No one in here works for me or is here for me to serve or for you to serve me. I serve you. So anything you all need, please let me know anytime, and I will work hard to get back to you to let you know how to make it happen. And if I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know, but I'll try to find the answer out. So thank you all for coming. Have a great day, and I will see 2 or 3 of you all on Monday at the, what is it? What day did I say that? The senior 17th at Splash Pad. Okay? All right, guys. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
safe trip.
Bye.
Bye-bye.